Good Friday morning to you all. Hopefully you guys are doing great. Hopefully you got your coffee and you're ready to go. We got another Watchmen update. We got some news items that they dumped right before the weekend and some things to keep you ahead of the curve. Blood moon to rise this weekend, what it might mean. And India makes a big offer to settle the trade deal, the trade war with the United States. That's a big concession right there. We got news on President Biden's health, a big update there. Democrats launching a lawsuit to protect criminals in Washington, D.C., of course. T-Mobile having troubles across the U.S. Houthis over in Yemen taking UN Smurfs hostage. And a healthy alternative from our Watchmen community suggested for bullion. We got that and a whole lot more. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade. And we do something here on YouTube's that nobody else is doing. This is a combined effort of all of us and the audience that is sending in reports on what's happening across the United States and around the world. If you appreciate what we do here, make sure you're either contributing or make sure you are subscribed as well. All right. We also do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They've been making these updates possible because they're very much like-minded. They believe that people should be taking steps to secure their retirement accounts to make sure that they're okay, even in troubled times. If you want to move some of your retirement account into gold, silver, or platinum, physical metals that you can hold in your hand, you can talk to Jonathan and his team about that. They can walk you through the whole process, and you can see if it's a good fit for you. There'll be a link at the end of the video if you want to find out more. The District of Columbia has sued the United States and U.S. President Donald Trump for deployment of the National Guard during his law enforcement intervention in Washington, D.C. Did they slash the homicide rate in Washington, D.C. by over 50%? Yes, they did. Did they save dozens, if not hundreds of lives from violent criminal acts? Yeah, they did that. Would that stop them from using lawsuits to get those homicides back? Apparently not for the Democrats. They like their crime. What can I say? Not really sure why people would live in those cities otherwise, but that's what's going on. A blood moon is to rise this Sunday night during the total lunar eclipse. It's going to be visible across Asia and swaths of Europe and Africa. Some of you guys really watch what's going on in the heavens. If you are, that's just a heads up to you. I've once did a deep dive research study into do blood moons correspond with any sort of unusual events or significant events, and I couldn't find a correlation, so maybe some of you guys have studied it more than I have. Let us know what your thoughts are down in the comments down below. Blood moon, does it mean anything? Is it some sort of sign? Is it a warning? Let me know what you guys think. All right, the Department of Justice has finally opened a criminal investigation into Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, who still refuses to resign, even though as one of the lead bankers of the United States, she fraudulently filled out her mortgage applications in order to get more favorable terms from the banks. Subpoenas have been issued already. This thing is kicking into high gear. She may be going to jail for what she's done. So maybe she'll still be a Federal Reserve governor and in jail at the same time. I don't know how that works. Anyway, President Biden has now undergone skin surgery for skin cancer just months after his prostate cancer diagnosis because, as we've been told, this guy is fit as a fiddle, or at least he was 9 months ago. But he's already been diagnosed with 2 kinds of cancer so far, and we're probably going to be hearing more stuff about his health in the coming days. President Trump says India has offered to remove tariffs on U.S. goods. India does not like the tariffs that President Trump has slapped on India. They're now right around 50% tariffs on India, and that's because India has been tariffing the snot out of the United States, even though the United States is the largest country that receives exports from India. So India exports more money, more value to the United States than it does anyone else on the planet. Whereas the United States isn't terribly dependent upon India for exports to there. So one player in this game has all the cards, and it's not India. So India has said, fine, we will remove all of our tariffs against you if you will back down. Now, part of the tariffs are sanctions because India has been buying up Russian oil and then turning around and selling it to Europe. Europe, knowing this is full well what's going on here, President Trump just called out Europe just yesterday about this, said you need to stop buying Russian oil. And all the Europeans are like, we don't buy Russian oil. Yeah, India buys it and then you buy it from India. That's you buying Russian oil through your broker who happens to be India. Anyway, President Trump has also announced that the Justice Department will block blue states from giving financial aid to others. That will become illegal, and the states will have to comply with that or else lose federal funding. President Trump accuses Chinese President Xi of conspiring against the United States as North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and Russian President Vladimir Putin attended their China's military parade commemorating the end of World War II and their victory over China, or rather the United States' victory over Japan. So in commemoration of that, I guess maybe, but the Defense Department of the United States will be renamed later today the Department of War. Now, if you remember, it used to be called the Department of War all the way up through the Civil War, and it's kind of a more accurate term considering the fact that we don't really actually defend the United States, we war. The United States has been involved in more wars than any other country in the world in the last 50 years. So there's American exceptionalism right at it, you know. So if you don't like war, you probably shouldn't be American, I guess. The Houthis over in Yemen, a war that the United States has somehow gotten involved with along the way, even though the United States hasn't been affected by the Houthis at all yet. Anyway, they have taken 11 UN World Food Program staff hostage, calling them spies for Israel and the United States. The United States is supposedly at peace with the Houthis, but nobody told the Houthis. There's a peace treaty that Trump and the Houthis signed. Anyway, but apparently that's what's going on. So those people were with the World Food Program as well as UNICEF, which is the children's arm of the UN there too. Sandra says, West Michigan, have been waiting 3 weeks to get my Cortef injection. Now this is a rescue medication for Addison's. Pharmacy says it's on back order. It's an emergency medication. This emergency medication is something I need before I can get any medical procedure. So kind of a serious shortage out there. So if you are on that or you need that, make sure you are aware of that shortage out there. Blondie says Northwest Connecticut, no singing birds at daybreak for a month at least. Dead squirrels appearing in my yard with no obvious signs of injury or what may have happened. It's eerie. Deborah says Fayetteville, North Carolina. Steve, it is just 9:30 a.m. this morning. I went to change the water in my hummingbird feeder. I just changed it 2 days ago. My feeder was so greasy on the outside, I almost dropped it. I always wash my feeders with hot soapy water, rinse them with hot water. What in the world is on this feeder? Did not spray anything like bug spray or any poisons. Has anyone else seen this? It smells like petroleum jelly. So Anyone else seeing some sort of petroleum type sticky or slick residue appearing on stuff out there? Let us know. Make sure you use the word update in your comment. Kathy says, I went to Walmart yesterday here in South Indiana, and one thing I was getting was a plastic storage container that I could put some of my the coloring books and markers for my great-granddaughters. Not a big tote, but it did have plastic handles that latched. Not big or fancy. When I went to pay for it, it rang up at $37.73. Are you kidding me? Just a plastic tote, a small plastic tote. Nope, I will get a cardboard box and put their coloring stuff in it. Yeah, just don't ask how much cardboard boxes cost these days. Crazy. Peculiar Optics says T-Mobile has been jacked up all weekend. No service, weird stuff going on with my phone, and it's just downright strange. Phone and tablet got forced system updates and were out of service for 2 days. Madam K in northeast Wisconsin, yes, there is chicken broth here, but bullion is low. Jeff in Utah, I told you before about the fruit and bugs still gone for 2 years. 6 months ago, I noticed ants did not build a large mound at the end of my driveway like they've done for the past 11 years. Every year they come and go in the wintertime. They just came back, but this time with no leader. They are spread out all over the end of the driveway going in circles, but no organization to build a mound like the last 11 years. I do not spray. I really think that the food chain has been interrupted. Neighbors 2 blocks over used to have hundreds of rose bushes. These are just wild ones. Now they have nothing. John says, here in rural central Oklahoma, I'm used to hearing the doves cooing in the maple tree around the chicken pen or coop. They're not there anymore. I haven't seen them on the power lines as usual. We have many small ponds in the area and a couple on the property, and usually have doves here and there during the dove season, as we don't hunt them on the property. I'm wondering what has changed. A lot of people asking those very same questions. Bad Karma in Pennsylvania, which is southwest Pennsylvania. I'm a second-year beekeeper. 3 weeks ago, 2 adjoining counties announced that they were going to spray for mosquitoes due to the presence of the West Nile virus. A week ago, I was quite proud at how well my hive was doing. They seemed to be very strong. This week, the bottom board was covered in dead bees. I have a small garden. Out of 3 zucchini plants, I got 2 zucchinis. You should get a lot more than that, right? Tomato and Brussels sprouts have yielded nothing. I make no claims to be a master beekeeper or having a green thumb, but this ain't right. No monarch caterpillars on my milkweed for the past 2 years, and the stink bug and lanternfly infestation is gone. Anyone else seeing that too? Not that I miss those two, they say. Yeah, I don't miss the stink bugs either, but where did they go? Like, they just gone. Haven't seen a stink bug this year. It's just when you start thinking about those things, you're just like, that is odd, isn't it? They're taking over the entire country, and then poof, they're gone. What did they do? Susan says, about a month back, we had a crop duster go over the small town I live in Oklahoma. Now, no one has any dandelions in the town. I keep them for pollinators. Does anyone else see a decline in dandelions? We had a Dollar General in Fletcher, Oklahoma, where one employee threatened to poke another in the stomach with a blade. He was arrested. This small town also had a home invasion that involved 4 minor kids. One was a runaway from Texas and 1 adult. One 18-year-old mother outside Oklahoma City had to use a boomstick to end 3 intruders that came into her house. Poor girl. Parts of Lawton, Oklahoma have not had water for 4 days now. People can't bathe, drink water, or anything that requires water. And no coyotes are heard here as well. Be safe, everyone. That's a lot in that update, isn't there? Margaret, Northeast Texas, just outside Shreveport, Louisiana. We've been contemplating buying half a cow to stabilize our beef costs. That said, half a cow is now costing $6 per pound hanging weight and another $1 or $2 a pound for cutting and wrapping. So you're looking at $8 to $10 per pound for the finished product. I was complaining about this to my local small grocer, where I do purchase the majority of my beef as they cut and grind in their store, and I approve of the quality. I was able to purchase 10 pounds of ground beef chubs, sirloin, for $6 a pound, and was able to get sirloin flats similar to brisket in size with a small fat cap for $6.59 per pound. With the flats, I now have roasts and steaks and stew meat as I choose to cut them. Yes, it's a bit of extra work for me, but the price savings is significant. Do I get my ribeyes and T-bones? No, but I do get one heck of a deal for my family this way. Because it's just now me and my husband, we can now afford the occasional T-bone or ribeye as we want them, but everyday beef is now more manageable. Just a thought, passing on to hopefully you and your families. And good advice out there. Appreciate it. Solotap says, prepare now and keep quiet with your families. Food, fuel, water, medical supplies, pack everything away like a silent rat if you can. Try to start growing your own food in a pot in the window, even if you have to, or even animals in the backyard. SHTF, or stuff hitting the fan, has started in central Minnesota. We are starting to see the collapse in real time. Calves are going for $135 for 2-day-olds, where they used to be $30 tops. Piglets are going for more than $55 per pig. Piglets. It used to be maybe $10 for a piglet. And for every other animal in the stockyard, it's going for more than 5 times the price that they were 2 years ago. Don't get me started on feed prices expanding exponentially as well. And Dabble Don't says, if you're looking for beef chicken broth, try Better Than Bouillon. It's a concentrated bouillon paste in a jar that comes in about 20 different varieties, so you can get chicken, beef, vegetable, or lobster, including organic options. It has no MSG and fewer chemicals than traditional bouillon cubes and powder. I've used it for years now, and in a pinch, I've made different soups without a meat, and it turned out great. It doesn't take up nearly as much space as broth, and the only drawback is that it needs to be refrigerated after opening. Hope this helps. Now, that is what a lot of restaurants use. So if you go into restaurants, more like the chain restaurants, a lot of them use Better Than Bouillon in their kitchens. So it gives it some of the tastes that you may be familiar with at fancier restaurants. Not super fancy restaurants, but like middle restaurants. Anyway, thanks so much for your updates, friends. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there on the screen. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report.